And I made a Snapchat filter for you to be able to see Saul, but Snapchat said that it was uninteresting. They did not approve it. I know. So I just have to make sure I'm connected really fast to the right. Okay, good. So that. Hi. Okay, there. That's better. So. Welcome to my chat with Saul LeWitt. I'd like to start by calling in Saul.
Saul, come to your sculpture.
There you are. So first of all, Saul, I just want to say that I love you as George on Seinfeld. Has anybody seen what Saul LeWitt looks like? It looks like George. But seriously though, this is a very special event for my life as an artist to interview you. Our work is often compared. And that we're both fabulous Ashkenazi princesses, and who love to get unsuspecting folks to make our work for us under the guise of collectivism. I see you, girl. Generosity. So I want to give you a chance to answer also through our device out there. So first of all, may I call you Saul? Oh. I'm sorry, may I call you Saul?
Both ideas were conceptual, but conceptual in different directions.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take that as a conceptual yes. Saul, what is conceptual art, and why did you write sentences about it? Oh, I'm so sorry. I want to make sure I'm representing Saul well.
That was because I wanted to reject minimalism, and I wanted to do something that was involved, what I thought would better be described as conceptual, although the term was already in circulation. It came through the Fluxus group. The Fluxus group were using the term, but they really were direct descendants of Duchamp and Dada, which was something that I really wanted to avoid. And there's the confluence of the two terms, but their ideas were totally different. And both ideas were conceptual, but conceptual in different directions.
Huh. Interesting. I feel like we're in a little bit of a feedback loop, but that's okay, because you're a ghost. I also want to say on rejecting, on rejection, that rejection is an altar at which sometimes we fall victim to praying at, right? So just like, you know, keep that in mind, just for your own self-care. So you have given a lot of advice over the years. I think we all wish you would have advised Eva Hesse to wear a ventilator. But other than that, I just love your not Yoko Ono take on the world. In Sentences on Conceptual Art, written in 1969, you claim that conceptual artists are mystics rather than rationalists. They leap to conclusions that logic cannot reach. Do you feel like Joseph Beuys stole your look? And if so, who wore it better?
I don't want to be an art personality because my art has nothing to do with that. I don't even like my picture to be used because it has nothing to do with my art. I don't want to be on panels because I don't think quickly enough to be a good panel member. And again, I don't want to become a personality.
It's a moody answer. You're definitely not a millennial like like me, that you don't want to be a personality. But what I'm also taking away from that answer is that art is not a competition, and I like that. I like that because it's not, right? Awards for art are so weird. Adjunct teaching, on the other hand, you know, big competition. I want to go back to this idea of the mystic, if we can, the void. The void used to scare the shit out of me, Saul, I gotta be honest. But as I grow white hairs in this fascist nation state, which is fashionable also, the void becomes more seductive. Could you say more about the artist and the unknown, Saul?
I was trying to get away from the idea that they were rationalists, because all artists, I think, are mystics to the extent that they do something that's not been done before. And I think of it as like a leap, like a Kierkegaard kind of thing, that an artist goes off into some kind of unknown space. But I think that, say, a conceptual artist does it with his concept. He has to reach some irrational leap into the unknown.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and say, though, but does that, in and of itself, defy rationalism? In truth, to say that the artist is doing something for the first time. Couldn't the artist have already done that exact same thing in another dimension? One where there's an artist union and Bernie one, and museums have never existed because colonialism never gave the wealthy a reason to collect and display rarefied forms of cultural capital. So on the cultural capital, go ahead.
Both ideas were conceptual, but conceptual in different directions.
Oh, okay. Well, you got me there. Alternative voids are still conceptual, I understand. But can original ideas exist a priori without ontology, my guy? Not all Jews believe in God. Don't give me that look. I don't know, man. Are you sure an oppressed person or ahistoric identity hasn't already thought of everything, and maybe you're looking at a universal that's not universal? Or, I don't know, I guess we agree that artists are mystics. Did you know that in some cultures there's actually no word for artist because everybody in the community makes art? Or, our early ancestors had nothing in their lives that was profane because everything was sacred, right? I just think that we're all mystics and shamans because we're all stardust and recycled stardust conceptual ideas in evolving holographic forms, the universe eats itself at any given point, and at any given point I just feel like you're either the teeth or the tail.
Both ideas were conceptual, but conceptual in different directions.
Some of my questions and your answers are never truly meeting, like an open-ended form, if we will. And I want to get back to the concept of form, actually, and the language about form. I hate the term negative space. I don't think the non-material space within form is space. I think there are placeholders that hold the idea of form, like Swiss cheese, right? Nobody looks at the holes in cheese and says, that's where the cheese is not, right? Instead, we look at the holes in cheese and we think of those holes as places that hold the idea of the cheese. You're welcome. Yeah. One could say that you today are a placeholder for the idea of you, since you are not physically here, and perhaps ghosts are exactly that, just placeholders for memory. I think of your work as a placeholder for the culture worker. And worker is very important here, because I believe you present the idea of labor and ideas of labor. Something I always want from Marx, but I only ever really get from Kropotkin. It seems is intellectual labor as labor. You know, like I don't want to have to till the fields to be considered a worker. And by that standard, and taking into account both our aversion towards finish fetishism, I would consider you, and myself for that matter, anti-minimalist minimalists. I really have to push myself towards figuration. I used to make very figurative work, and now it just feels very foreign. But sometimes necessary, because I think the figure from the perspective of a feminine person is underrepresented. Something I've always appreciated about you is your take on figuration, representation, and the presence of the culture worker as the only figure in your work. Could you say a little bit more about that?
I really believe that art is not just something that's laid on the as frosting on the cake of society. I think that aesthetics and ethics are really very, very much the same kind of thing. The reason that I do things the way I do them is because I think that it's, for me, a necessary way of doing it. I can't paint a picture of a person, because to me it wouldn't be ethical. I mean, I can draw a line on a wall because I think it's an ethical act, and it's necessary. I mean, in terms of how I think, or how I'm thinking of a particular artwork.
I love that, Saul. So, is this conversation conceptual art? What do you think?
One of the things I said was that a work of art didn't have to be made at all. And it's part of a chain of mental process. Eventually, it has to find some form, but all the parts of the chain don't have to be seen, or doesn't have to find form. And the form can be just words, like Ian Wilson, just does conversations.
I'll take it. Well, thank you, Saul. I was going to make a Snapchat filter of you